Hello and welcome to Unfiltered with Matt. I have filmed this so many times, I don't know why I'm struggling to review each and every episode of Queer as Folk, but we're in episode 3, and it's not that I don't enjoy the show, it's that I'm trying to find a way to encompass and talk about the show without boring anybody. Because there's a few things to go over, and we're going to talk about it, and hopefully you enjoy. So, in this episode, we get to learn a little more about Daddies, who, if you watched my previous reviews, I have not enjoyed too much. Um, you know, he dies in episode 1 through the shooting, which is terrible, but we got no connection of him. All I got to see is him brushing off Noah and not caring about his feelings, and then, he's gone. In this episode, we get to open up to Daddies and Brody in the cemetery searching for shrooms to make a concoction to get high. So, and then Daddius discovers that he's found what they're looking for, and he does this little dance, and he's like, broomy, shoomy, broomy, shoomy. And he's dancing, and there's like little music, and we cut to Brody at the funeral of Daddius, like going, oh, what fond memories. And I'm thinking, like, that's the only memory you can pull out of your head, is that memory, and it doesn't even kind of create a connection to me to Daddius. I was like, it seems like maybe Brody and Noah, or Brody and Daddius, all they had was like just getting high together, because as we saw in episode 1, Brody and Daddius go off to the bathroom to get high. So, and then we have, at the funeral, there's lots of people there, so obviously, Daddius has impacted lots of people's lives, probably more than will be at mine. So, actually, I probably know, definitely there'll be more at his. And we see that, the mayor's there doing a speech that apparently probably summarizes Daddius, and he says, "Ah, sweet Daddius, I am the saddiest." And that seems like such a corny kind of thing. Maybe some people are like kind of finding it stupid at the funeral, but after us as the audience getting to know Daddius, I was like, I guess that pretty much summarizes him. We do get to learn a little bit more about the character, so I'm going to put my, those feelings aside, and I feel bad for them. But we do get to learn that Daddius has gone through some trauma. His family completely separated themselves when they found out Daddius was gay. We also get to see that, they sent him to gay conversion therapy, and this is when, later in the episode, Noah is having a conversation with Daddius, and Daddius is sharing that with him. We do get to see that Daddius' family comes and shows up to this event held by the mayor, where he's giving victims, the victims' families, cars. And Brody, we get to learn through him that, Daddius' family didn't even want to collect the ashes. Noah collected the ashes. So I feel bad for Daddius as a character in that regard, what he experienced, and he's potentially used, those bad experiences and learned how to cope with them by just escaping. This could explain why he brushed off Noah at the club when he was upset, because he has no coping mechanisms how to deal with these things. Now, I'm maybe diving deeper than what maybe was written there, but this is what I'm gathering, and it does make sense. So, we get to see, also towards the end of the episode, just to put another kind of definition and get to learn Brody's relationship with Daddius, is that Brody decides to, decides where he's going to put the ashes of Daddius, and he decides that he's going to put his ashes in his favorite cruising spot. I was like, really? Okay, so first you have the thing at the cemetery, and now you're going to throw his ashes in his favorite cruising spot. Wasn't there any somewhere better? Like, that's what Daddius is known for, drugs and cruising spot. So, at the end of the episode, they, release the ashes, and Daddius' ashes have glitter in it. And I guess that's fitting. He was very sparkly. But I wish I could have got a little more substance from Daddies. I mean, he's gone. Now I don't have to feel so bad because maybe we don't have to talk about, that character too much anymore, but I wish it was a little more. Let me know what you think, because I feel like I'm being cruel to Daddies. But moving on, Brody's not doing too much better in this episode. He, one thing he does good is that he takes the 40,000 that he received from the funds of victims from Babylon, and he throws a party in Daddies' honor. We get to see that Brody is having difficulty with the events that happen at Babylon, because when firecrackers go outside of Noah's house where they're throwing the party, he gets upset and he's like, I smell gunpowder, and runs off. As far as Brody, when he's planning the party at Noah's place, Noah gets upset and goes upstairs, and Brody goes, he'll change his mind. Doesn't even think to comfort Noah. I mean, there's one scene where Brody does comfort Noah, taking bad thoughts out of Noah's head. But these moments for Brody are far few. Later in the episode, when Noah tells him off because he's really upset and letting his feelings out and telling Brody that he's selfish, Brody comes back and sees Noah later after he's visited Daddies' family, and we'll get into that. He sees Noah, and Noah's apologizing, and Brody basically says, oh, I know I didn't do anything wrong. I just didn't realize you were so close to Daddies. I was like, okay, Brody is like completely like, we're establishing that him as a character, like he has a lot of growing to do, and he needs to get out of his own head. We get to see a little bit about Marvin as a character in this episode, not too much. We see that Marvin is helping Brody plan this party, and that he brings a guy along to the party that he's paid for. And hopefully there'll be a little more development for Marvin as a character later in the series. There's not too many episodes left. I mean, it feels like we have lots to get through, and we're just starting to get to know the characters. So as far as for Ruthie, before my comments were that I feel like a sense of immaturity, and I'm not really sure how she still has a job as a teacher, because Ruthie has made some poor choices. And that's not saying I don't like the character, and I really think that Jessie does a great job of playing Ruthie. I always can't keep my eyes off of, Jessie when she's on screen. But Ruthie displays that she's struggling in her mothering skills, and it makes you think that maybe she really didn't want to have kids. Because when she's with the kids and rocking them back and forth, she tells the babies that they're a-holes, and she tells them to shut the F up. So, she's definitely struggling a little bit with being a mother. And Brenda's there to help, and Ruthie does take advantage of that. And I'm not sure if it's because Ruthie needs a break, because, look at Cher. She's been there the whole time, and Ruthie has been, through the episodes have been nothing but, I need to go party. I need to go be Brody. So Ruthie takes advantage and has Brenda, stay to watch the kids. She thinks that, Cher and her can go out to Brody's party, but Cher decides to stay with kids and stays with Brenda. Ruthie goes to the party. She sees that Mingus is there, and then, decides to leave afterwards. When Ruthie comes back home, she has an interaction with Brenda, and Brenda tells Ruthie that Cher is a good egg. And, Ruthie goes, yeah, and acknowledges it a little bit. But I feel like there's going to be problems between Ruthie. She has made some poor decisions, and I'm wondering if those poor decisions and her kind of immaturity are going to lead to her having future problems down the road in the season. Hopefully there's going to be a season 2, because I feel like not many episodes left. How are we going to get this development? So for Mingus, my critique of episode 2 is that we didn't get to really see Mingus going through anything. And in this episode, we do. We get to see he's throwing out his drag. His mother's concerned with him because he didn't even answer the check for funds from the Babylon shooting. And his mother says, hey, we could really use that money. I mean, not only for, I guess, the family, but, his college, and if he wanted to buy more stuff for his drag. He tells his mother he just wanted to do that, and he's done with it. His mother decides, and I'm not sure if this is a really good choice, decides to take him to shooting range. And, Mingus does not enjoy it and leaves. I think his mother was thinking that, instead of Mingus not being in control of the shooting, maybe being on the other side of the gun, will hopefully help him cope. But it appears not to be a good decision. I mean, later in the episode, Mingus goes to the party at Noah's place, invited by Brody. And he gets drunk there. He pukes on Bussie's dress. And Bussie had invited Mingus to go to the drag school and says that, Mingus is not done with drag. And here he is throwing up on Bussie's dress and then insulting Bussie, saying, hey, those gloves look better on me than you. And then Bussie holds up a knife to Mingus. And I think it's essentially just to cut the part of the dress where Mingus puked and tells Mingus to go away. And Mingus does, and he leaves the party. And that's pretty much the development for Mingus here. He's struggling, finding his way, still gravitating to Brody, who kind of was like, I'm happy you're here at the party. Bye. And then what is Mingus supposed to do with that? I think that he expected Brody to pay attention to him more. Sorry, Mingus. You're young. You'll learn. Hopefully not when it's too late. So Noah in this episode, who we know I like, because he's a nice guy, we get to see that he's upset with Brody, thinking that he knows what's best. Noah, has displayed that he made connection with Daddies, and, Daddies shared an intimate moment with him about his past experience with his family, much to the surprise of Brody. Noah agrees to have the party at his place in a moment of weakness when he's thinking about Daddies. And Brody immediately jumps on that. I'm not sure if Brody really pays attention to, other people's feelings, and I'm not sure if it's intentional or not, because I think I know people like that in my life. They're so, in their own world and me, that they tend to forget about other individuals, and I see a lot of that in Brody. Like I said, Noah stands up to Brody and tells him he's so selfish. That leads to, Brody storming out of the party. But I think that, Brody's treatment of Noah in this episode leaves the room for other characters or other individuals to step in and take care or be there for Noah. And we just have someone to do that, which is Brody's brother, Julian. And Julian, takes a few moments in this episode to get closer to Noah. He invites him to watch Buffy. Who doesn't love Buffy? There's few people that don't, but I love it. He tells him, and he convinces Noah to watch it by saying, hey, the guys in Buffy are hot. And Noah goes, oh, I like hot guys. Julian checks up on Noah at the party and goes to his room, and then, Noah decides to kiss Julian, and Julian goes, I think this is like incest, because, Brody was with Noah, and he just wanted to do that to his brother. But it is interesting that Noah expressed interest in Julian, and I was like, ooh, I'm so excited to see what happens in the future episodes. So, we do get to see a little bit about Brenda, and like I said, Kim Cattrall, I would like to see more of her. She's such an asset to have in any show, and she just is, I don't know, I just like, Kim Cattrall, and everything she has to bring. But she's there, like I said, taking care of the babies with Cher. I like that she has a moment. She's expressing that she's, really upset. One, she's, yes, upset with Brody. Her favorite barista doesn't like her. Her son Julian has been turned against her from Brody. And then Brody's just, screwing up everything on his own. And then she has, this moment where she makes a drink for Cher out of Cher's breast milk. And, before they both take care of the kids. So I'm hoping that Brenda seems like she's connecting to Cher and creating a friendship there. So towards the end of the episode, we do get to see that Brody goes to Daddius's family's house and sets the car on fire that they won or were awarded from the victims of Babylon. And I'm not sure if this is going to have repercussions down the road. We will see. I'm not sure if the families will report something and maybe Brody get arrested. We'll see. We also get to see that there's a closing of Bussy, performing at the end of the episode. So that's nice to see. I mean, Bussy gets to take the stage a little bit. I'm really excited to see, one thing that this episode brought to the table, which was the connection between Julian and Noah, and then also the connection between Brenda and Cher. So I'm really excited about those two developments and getting to dive a little deeper. Overall, I enjoyed the episode. There were at least some things that happened in this episode with the development of closing the story of Daddius. So that way I don't have to feel guilty anymore about maybe potentially insulting Daddius. And that's what I thought about the episode. I thought it was pretty good. Brody, I mean, a little hard to like as a character because he makes so many irresponsible choices. I feel like, him and Ruthie are kind of a pair there. But of course, could you imagine that relationship? I'm not sure if they'll be able to last. Probably be very destructive, each one making a mistake and bad choices. So tell me what you thought. Was I justified in my concern and unhappiness with Daddius as a character? Did you enjoy any aspects of the episode like I did? I really liked the interaction between Julian and Noah. Let me know what you think. And until next time, stay safe, and let's see each other again when we review episode 4 of Queer Spoke. Thank you. And like and subscribe.